I'm just picturing myself when I'm Max Verstappen in the driving seat. And I'm like, where is Charles Leclerc? It's like, where is Charles Leclerc, mate? Where is he? There's nobody else in my league apart from that guy.
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean that's interesting. That you put it that way, but unfortunately that's
You know what?
What ifs? If this happened, this will happen.
It's no ifs and buts, ifs. But it's more mistakes.
So what I've learned from Ferrari is it matters not how you start. It only matters how you finish. You know what I'm saying?
Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul and welcome to the Pit Window Open podcast. We are back and I'm joined by the two Kevs.
Go.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, you all know the familiar, the normal Kevin, the usual Kevin, the consistent Kevin. And Kev,
No longer
back.
debutant.
Yeah, welcome back to the episode. Glad to have you, man.
As always, pleasure to be here.
Yeah, and guys, so this episode we're gonna be discussing about we've come a long way since the season began.
Yeah,
For sure.
Yeah, and we feel like with 6 races remaining, we can be in a position to give some solid thoughts, conclusions, findings, observations.
No longer predictions.
Yeah, about season 2022 so far. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. So we are here to give you how we feel, to tell you how we feel about the season 2022 so far, how it has panned out, and it's gonna be our personal opinions. So feel free to share your own opinions. And yeah, so we're gonna start with, as usual, our guest, Kel.
Yeah, man, pleasure. So yeah, 2022. I mean, I feel like it's been, at least based on my own experience, the best, the most, entertaining season, F1 season, for me personally.
Yeah.
In terms of my thoughts, maybe I'll start with what I've learned so far.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll go through the teams, and I'll say maybe let's start with Ferrari. So what I've learned from Ferrari is it matters not how you start. It only matters how you finish. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, it matters how how consistent you are, and how you maintain momentum over the course.
Just to get on that point.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So guys, we all remember the season began. Pre-season testing was amazing for Ferrari. We go into the season. The first race
few
in
races,
Bahrain. Charles Leclerc and Max
Mm-hmm.
Verstappen. Charles Leclerc wins the battle. We go into Saudi Arabia. Charles Leclerc wins the battle, and Ferrari fans are off their seats.
This is the hope that kills you.
But as they said, slowly we started seeing things fall apart. You know the book,
The set book.
the set book, things fall apart.
Things fall apart, bro.
But sure, continue.
But yeah, man. So yeah, that's something. These things. Sometimes things happen and you draw lessons
It's just like Arsenal,
for
yeah.
yourself.
How so? How's the season started?
No. Arsenal begins very well, and then they capitulate towards the end. of the
No.
season.
Actually, last season, if you don't remember, we started with 3 losses. It's this season which we began with.
You began with 3 losses, but you caught momentum.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the season, you still lost it.
Yeah, but no. Ferrari, at the beginning of the season, you guys started very well. I remember by then you were here saying,
Yeah.
This are you.
To be fair,
Yeah.
I had predicted Charles Leclerc will win the title,
Yeah.
but I have an opposite. I have an opposite opinion. For me, I feel like Charles Leclerc and Ferrari were unlucky,
Okay.
given the 4 DNFs for engine failure. To start with, I would say Ferrari we've improved this season. Looking from 2019 when we got the engine penalties, and people said we're using an illegal engine. Leclerc won in Monza, he won at Spa, and we found out that the engine was kind of illegal. They're using some fuel things. So from then 2020 and 21 we've been abysmal. But coming to the new era of the new rules, Ferrari showed that they can make a step forward. So I feel like this season it's been a bit more of luck in the sense of how many DNFs has Max Verstappen had?
At the beginning of the season, I think.
Is that two? Yeah. So Leclerc has had like 4 or 5.
I think 4.
From winning positions, by the way.
Yeah.
The only race I would fault Leclerc himself is when he dropped it in French GP. Remember when he was in the lead?
Oh,
and then he crashed.
He got a DNF too.
Yeah, he got a DNF from his own mistake. On his fault. But the rest have been kind of his engineer's race strategy. The engine just failing him. Yeah, and I feel like if you take away the DNFs, Charles Leclerc is only right now. Let's say he had 4 DNFs. He's had 4 DNFs, right? Max Verstappen has had 2.
Yeah.
So if you
take away the
2, just give
one
them,
was from a winning position.
Yeah, both are from a winning position.
Okay.
Just take away the 2 and give both of them 2 DNFs.
Okay.
That's 25 points. That's 50 points.
But okay, yeah, that's 50 points.
Charles Leclerc has lost almost 80 points from winning positions. So put the 50 points right now on his tally, and he's only like 20 points away from Max Verstappen. And at this stage of the season, that's still all to play for.
Yeah.
So I feel like Ferrari, as much as race strategy as we saw in Monaco and other races as well, the DNFs has really been costly, engine failure and stuff. But sure, not the way you. It's all matters the way you finish. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But I mean that's interesting. That you put it that way, but unfortunately that's a
What ifs? If this happened, this would happen.
It's no ifs and buts, ifs. But the small mistakes. The minor.
Yeah. I feel like that's also like a testament to how the small things at the end of the day they matter.
Sure.
But yeah. That's at least so. That's for Ferrari. Maybe if I go to Red Bull, I'd say they've been strong the whole time, and as far as what I've learned from that is, the so long as you have a good team behind you, and you stay consistent and just stay focused on your game, things will clearly work out as we've seen with Red Bull.
Yeah. But when it comes to Red Bull, I only have one take. And I don't know if you guys will agree with it. Max Verstappen is the guy to beat. For the Red Bulls,
easy, yeah.
Max Verstappen is the guy to beat.
Max Verstappen is the guy to beat in F1
in
general.
Joined on that take. So my take is Max Verstappen, just like we all have, has been bored when there's no Charles Leclerc to battle with.
Yeah, the race is even not just Max Verstappen, even the fans.
Yeah, just like all of us. I'm just picturing myself when I'm Max Verstappen in the driving seat, and I'm like, where is Charles Leclerc? It's like, where is Charles Leclerc, mate? Where is he? There's nobody else in my league apart from that guy.
That's crazy.
Actually, the races that Charles Leclerc have been out of the mix have been pretty boring.
Sweep.
Yeah, like 18 laps to go, and you stop even watching the race. You just get on your phone, start doing other things.
Yeah, so that's my take. This season I've learned that when Charles Leclerc is not there and Max Verstappen is there, it's boring. It's a boring race for all of us and for Max Verstappen as well.
Definitely.
Yeah. But going to the Red Bulls, Kev, I want to ask you, if it wasn't for Max Verstappen, given Sergio Perez, the way he's performed this season, is Sergio Perez is deputizing role. Is it better than other teams? Like we've seen Carlos Sainz. For me, Carlos Sainz is a better deputy.
Yeah. Even George Russell.
Yeah, even George
Russell,
Russell.
yes.
No. For this one, I say Lewis Hamilton is a better deputy to George Russell.
Oh, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
For that team, I
yeah.
think that's why I'm saying it's Max Verstappen,
Yeah.
the driver to beat.
Definitely. Because Perez doesn't make it at all.
You agree?
I agree with that. Yeah. Even though I hate to say it, Max Verstappen is the driver to beat coming season.
Yeah.
And it will happen. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So, how can Red Bull fix this issue?
With Sergio Perez.
No, we've seen it over and over again.
Yeah.
The main driver, who is Max Verstappen, always has the upper hand. They've tried it with Alex Albon, Pierre Gasly, and now Sergio Perez, who started very well, but from the, I don't know. And for me, I'd say from Monaco GP when he crashed in qualifying, from then it's just been a downhill
Yeah.
for Sergio Perez. So how can Red Bull fix this? Because they need two drivers who can consistently compete.
I think last season Red Bull won the championship, the drivers' championship, but Mercedes won the construction.
Yeah.
When it comes to this season, Red Bull are winning both.
Yeah.
So I think the problem is fixed. As long as you win both,
Okay.
that's my take.
Okay.
That's
But
an improvement.
But going forward,
Yeah.
because we definitely know
Yeah.
Ferrari, if they fix their reliability issues,
Yeah.
and Mercedes are definitely gonna come back with both drivers. How can Red Bull address this?
I don't. Maybe it comes to strategy because I don't think they'll change the driver
Yeah.
because there's not. Okay, I won't say there's.
But we both agreed last week that
Yeah.
Sergio Perez is getting a maximum of 1 year more with the Red Bull team.
So you're saying going forward they should change the driver?
I'm saying
Yeah.
past 2023,
Yeah.
Sergio Perez cannot be in that seat.
Yeah. I don't think. Who was it?
I don't know.
Like I don't
For
see
me,
anybody. Yeah.
bring in another youngster because these youngsters are so
Yeah.
talented.
Yeah. How old is Perez?
Perez is
36.
30, 32, 33, 35.
Oh.
Yeah.
Unless they get their drive from the development.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, I mean that's interesting to think about. I mean in terms of the difference between drivers
Mm.
in a team, I feel like Red Bull has the biggest kind of discrepancy between
Yeah.
the two.
Yeah.
Red Bull, then you go to McLaren.
Yeah. And Red Bull always have an advantage because they can use one driver with a sister team, which is AlphaTauri, because we saw it with Pierre Gasly. He performed very well with the AlphaTauri and then he got promoted to the Red Bull. But getting that second seat for the Red Bull is so much pressure. You have to beat Max Verstappen. You have to be competitive against Max Verstappen, and he's the man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what makes it hard
Yeah.
in terms of the working with two drivers. I feel like Max is such a high performer
Yeah.
that anyone else struggles to kind of keep up with.
For me, I just think that guy is well suited for Max.
And okay, this is not even a thought, but a question. Do they have two different cars? Are they like structured differently?
No, they're structured the same.
Yeah.
But I feel like Max loves a very pointed car. When he loves to turn the steering wheel and the car is just boom with the slightest of change. But I just feel like that's a configuration Red Bull have prioritized
For Max.
for Max.
Okay.
And other drivers kind of. Sergio Perez loves it when the guy has a bit of an understeer.
But can't you structure for each individual?
Yeah. You
Structure
can.
it differently to fit them.
Yeah, you can,
Yeah.
but sometimes it becomes too late.
Oh.
The championship is already up, and your teammate is points away from you.
Yeah.
But For me personally, I think for the Red Bull, yeah, Max Verstappen has been great. Good recovery. I have to give the team credit because we saw the DNFs in the beginning of the season, get the fuel pump issue, and they fixed it. And from then, they haven't had any DNF. There's a step forward in terms of reliability.
Yeah.
So going to the drivers, I just feel like Red Bull, first of all, they have Max, who is a super driver. For me, I think they just need to think about the second driver a bit much more. Yeah. If we have Max who can deliver points week in, week out, what can we do with our second team driver? They have to really think about that. And for me, I think it's a weakness for their team principal. I think he doesn't think about the second driver as much as he thinks about the first driver. Yeah. For me, I just I usually check Drive to Survive, and even when you watch practice session 1 and 2, hey, this guy it's all Max, man. Sometimes I feel like they leave over the second driver so much, and they put their eggs in one basket, and that's Max's basket, which should be something which I think costs them at the long run. Long term, it will cost them.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Short term, it can. Max Verstappen will win races here and there, but constructors, Perez will be, because at this point I say Carlos Sainz is a better deputy to Leclerc than Sainz is than Perez is to Max.
I think if it's not for the reliability issues with the Ferrari, the constructor championship will be close.
Could be close. Yeah, for sure. So, Kev, the next take.
You're still on Mercedes. You've gone through the Ferrari and the Red Bull.
For Mark, I mean, Mark is just learning and just polishing.
But to be fair to Mark, I have to give credit to Mark.
Russell.
Russell. And also the steps made in the beginning of the season, bro.
Compared to
bro, that Mark was so horrible. Even Q3, getting out of Q3 in qualifying was a hassle.
It was painful to understand.
Yeah, but you've made huge strides forward. Yeah.
Actually, after there's this the guy, the principal for Mercedes. Yeah, he said something
never
about
smiles.
Yeah, this year we're coming. He said, I don't remember the exact quote, but he said this season. Yani wakuja na jokes, they're coming after So to see how the season started, it was just laughable.
But Hamilton also said that after the summer break that we're going to cause chaos. But the only chaos they caused was the DNFs.
I mean, that's the other thing. You should just, calm down, just focus on, stop saying.
Yeah, but for Mas, at the beginning, you see, Mas have been so successful. Every season, you're gonna know Mercedes definitely are gonna challenge for the drivers and constructors. So coming into this season, it was a shock.
Very
pleasant shock to me.
Shocking game,
Shocking game, by the way. Jose Mourinho. So for me, I was shocked. How can Mercedes be 1 second off the fastest time? So for me, it was joy in my heart.
I mean, for me, if they were 1 second away from like Ferrari, I would also be happy. But the fact that it's to Red Bull,
so that caught all Mercedes fans were humble. Bro, my DMs were silent.
But you know what? Tough times never last. Only tough people last.
But coming into the season, we all think Mercedes are gonna be competitive for sure. That's what Mercedes represents. Hamilton is a good example of competitiveness, success, and I was shocked to see how poor they were at the beginning of the season. But definitely I knew the Mercedes are gonna catch up with the development phases. First of all, let's talk about the porpoising. Because Mercedes that is the thing which hurt them the most.
Yeah. I feel like it's also the other thing that they
just maybe Does anyone want to explain what purposing is?
Maybe we should take that.
Yeah, it's the vertical oscillations. You see when it's the aerodynamic, what can I call it? The changes in aerodynamics. So when the air passes through the car, the downforce becomes too much and the car is sucked to the ground. And then when the car touches the ground, the airflow gets distorted, so the car rises again. So we have that vertical oscillation. The car is just bouncing, especially on the straights, and Mercedes were heavily affected by that.
Yeah.
So I remember Toto Wolff saying, if we tackle that, that will be the first step towards gaining performance. Yeah.
Shall they tackle that?
Yeah, they did, to be fair. By the time they were getting to Silverstone GP, most teams struggled with purposing, but Mercedes was the highly affected team. Yeah.
And it also, like, I feel like so much time that could have been put in other things went into
because you see
fixing that.
that's something which is a structure of the car. And by the way, did you guys watch the testing, the pre-season testing? This is interesting because Mercedes in pre-season testing, they showed up with a different car. So the car had side pods, but come race 1, the car did not have any side pods. So you see, when you're testing the car, you can put any mechanism to, you can play mind games with other teams. So Mercedes came with a car which had side pods, but when we went to the first race in Bahrain, that's not the car they used in testing. So guys were like, oh, we have a different car. And I feel like that was Mercedes trying to solve the issues which they realized. You see, when you go to the simulator, you find issues, but when you go to the testing, the data found in the simulator is not the same as you find in the real race simulations. So Mercedes, I just felt like that was an aggressive step by Mercedes to try and tackle some of the issues. I feel like the previous car was even worse. So this was a panic. Yeah.
Anyway, so it's been interesting.
But the interesting fact is that I saw this, Chris posted this early in the group. Both Perez, Leclerc, Sainz, and Russell have 7 podiums. And Hamilton has 6.
This season?
Yeah, this season.
Mercedes have podiums because of Ferrari fuck-ups, man.
Yeah, but the fact that it's that close.
Yeah.
So who do you think? That was the question asked. Who do you think will win the most podiums out of the 5 drivers
this season?
Yeah.
Out of the 5 drivers?
Yeah, Perez, Leclerc,
definitely
Sainz, Russell and Hamilton. Hamilton is at 6, the other one at 7.
Yeah. Earlier in the season, I would have said one of the Mercedes. I would have said Russell. But now, I would say Leclerc, just because Ferrari have fixed their engine issues. Yeah. Because Mercedes were getting into the podium because of Ferrari getting DNFs. Yeah. So early in the season, I would have said Russell because it's more consistent than Hamilton. Now I would say Leclerc because it's more consistent than Sainz.
Actually, since Sainz finished on podium.
Leclerc?
Yeah, ahead of Leclerc.
Huh?
How many DNFs does Sainz have?
Sainz,
I think it's 2 p.m.
Yeah, but Leclerc is still ahead. That shows you how Leclerc has outperformed the car.
Good point, eh?
Nah, but Sainz, I think Sainz has been the driver saving Ferrari this season.
Bro, what do you mean?
We can see a couple of times when Leclerc is out of the picture, at least Sainz is there in contention, trying to compete with the 2 Red Bulls.
Leclerc has always been the picture.
No, Leclerc is the picture, but the picture the picture got distorted.
I have the table.
No, the picture gets
What do you bring
distorted.
the table?
The picture got distorted. The picture got distorted. So the photographer had to take a new picture.
I had to edit it.
And when he edited it, Sainz came out perfectly.
Let's get to that, by the way.
Yeah.
Speaking of Sainz and Leclerc, for me, I always read Sainz because I think he's a driver who has moved from team to team to team, from Red Bull to Toro Rosso, McLaren, Ferrari. And I remember when Sainz was saying, on the grid, I think I'm the driver who can adapt the most, and he has proved it. I mean, this guy is good. This guy has gone to multiple teams and he has proved his performance. But I just think that Leclerc has just a bit of an edge on him. Because getting into a team, first of all, you have to beat your teammate.
Yeah.
Because if you don't beat your teammate, how can you beat other drivers?
Yeah.
That means your teammate will always be ahead of you. But so far, Leclerc has out-qualified him and outperformed him in terms of race points, qualifying. So, yeah, Sainz is good. I don't disagree, but he lacks that that aggression that Leclerc or Verstappen has. Yeah.
Okay, another question I have between Sainz and who said like Russell is not the deputy driver? He's actually there.
This season, yeah.
Okay. But like in reality, Russell is there. Like,
Yeah.
between Sainz and Russell, who do you pick?
Between Sainz and
Yeah.
Russell
Yeah.
this season,
Yeah. If you had to pick a deputy driver.
I'm picking Russell.
For real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Russell is actually a very good driver, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Russell is a beast. Yeah.
It's the same with Russell.
Leclerc over Russell.
Yeah, definitely.
No, that's a stretch though.
Leclerc over Russell, yeah.
No, Leclerc. Oh, Leclerc over Russell. Oh, yeah. I thought you said Russell over Leclerc.
Yeah.
Yeah. Russell over Leclerc.
Even though I love Russell,
Yeah.
I don't think he's
Bro.
on man's level right now.
By the way, having discussed that, let's get into qualifying this season.
I have your qualifying match. Just get right here.
No. Let's just talk about qualifying performance. When you see in Q3, the second run in Q3 qualifying, bro, when the pressure is on, you can only rely on one man.
Obviously.
Goes by the name Charles Leclerc.
Yeah.
This guy is just superb. This guy has pace, man.
It's actually crazy
His
how-
pace is
yeah.
insane.
It's actually crazy how the
You know-
qualifying pace doesn't
Yeah.
translate into the race
No,
pace.
but race pace, race pace is different because you have to rely on your engineers, you have to rely on the car performance,
You have to
the
rely on
tire
the-
degradation, pit stops. But I'm gonna say this, I remember when Charles Leclerc was in Alfa Romeo, it was in Brazil GP, and it was wet, and it was qualifying. This is when I became a fan of Charles Leclerc. I remember the engineers told him, he was doing the second run to qualify into Q3, so it was Q2. The engineers told him, box, it's too slippery. But Charles Leclerc was like, no, I want to go for another run. And the guy put in a lap, which I'll never forget. As in, this guy is just, he's so overconfident and his pace is there to show. This guy put in a lap in Alfa Romeo, which didn't have pace. Brazilian GP, I can't remember, it was 2018, 2017. And the guy actually got into Q3. From that on, I was like, my hands up. Get in there, mate. Yeah. For me, from that time, I knew Ferrari were gonna give this guy a seat, and he got into the Ferrari, and straight away, bro, Vettel couldn't deal with this guy. Bro, Vettel had to leave that team, so this guy was taking over in such a ferocious way. He just had to, I'm out. Yeah. This
But
is
you know what the problem with that is? You don't win it qualifying. Only the race matter.
apart from Monaco. But even in Monaco, Ferrari still fucked up like
So
after
the problem
finishing
is,
fourth.
once Ferrari are good up until qualifying, but once you bring in one strategy starts to matter.
Yeah, they're out of the picture.
Tough.
Yeah. So very quickly, I want to go into the some of the teams which are not highly mentioned. So getting into this season, let's talk about the midfield battle between McLaren and
The Alonso team.
the Alonso team, Alpine.
Okay.
So for me, is my take. Alpine have had a better season in terms of car development. So the path they have taken in development and revolution-wise has been way better than the McLaren. We saw last season. McLaren finishing third. It was Mercedes, Red Bull, and McLaren. And we all thought coming to this season, McLaren are gonna pick up.
Yeah.
But bro, they've stagnated so much, and the Alpine have just picked up. I remember at the beginning of the season, the Alpine, but they didn't have any pace.
Yeah.
But they stuck into their program, their development cycle, and coming now at this stage of the season, we've seen how it has paid off for the Alpine. They've been a better team. McLaren, apart from Lando doing some amazing job, McLaren have been out of their depth. So
I think it comes still to the same thing as Mercedes. If the parent company struggles, definitely the sister company will struggle.
So we are taking the route of the power unit.
Yeah. Also, we've seen Ricardo struggling. So your deputy driver is struggling, the parent company is struggling. That's
But yeah,
when you combine the two
yeah,
of them,
yeah.
that's a recipe for failure.
Getting to that point of Ricardo, I just feel like he never settled since the time he arrived.
Yeah.
So for me, that was a bad move in the first place. Because we all had hopes. Ricardo going to the McLaren. It's gonna be a good teammate to Lando, but we've seen how Lando is.
This young guys of pace. You can't compete with them.
Ricardo never seemed settled
Yeah.
from the first season, and I think that has really hampered the McLaren development cycle. It always seems like Lando Norris has the upper hand.
Yeah.
Ricardo every time, and then how hard it is every now and then you're being asked, these guys are performing you, his teammate, are the cars different, what's happening? Oh, the mental energy, the mental strength you have to have.
Yeah, that's gonna be a
It's
interesting
gonna be
episode.
it's gonna be an interesting episode. So I think that has just made the McLaren not make a step forward.
Yeah.
Because you can see with the Alpine, Alonso and who was the other driver? Esteban Ocon. At least Esteban Ocon can learn from the senior driver.
Yeah.
But Lando Norris, man, that guy, bro, his ego is just too much.
Yeah.
I don't like him with it.
No, he's actually a very talented driver.
He's only good in the car, but outside the car.
Yeah.
Bro, outside the car?
Yeah.
Bro, this guy is, bro, I don't
How
know.
old is he? 21?
Yeah, this guy is, man, it's too much. He talks and acts like he's like 34 years old.
The thing's even like it's between teammates. You don't need to say to the media.
Yeah.
That's what I don't like about
But
him.
he says it to the
Yeah, he
media.
says those things to the media.
Man, I was watching Drive to Survive. Bro. But then Ricardo was just fed up.
Who do you think would be Lando's teammate come next season?
We already know
Who is it?
that guy, Oscar Piastri.
Or the winner of the Nini?
Yeah, the winner of the Formula 2.
Oh, that will be interesting.
But Ricardo is still pissed on him.
Yeah.
I mean,
Lando will still Nini.
Lando is still pissed on
For
him.
real.
Yeah.
We'll wait and see.
So the only thing which gives me hope is that this guy at least, they're the same age mates.
Yeah.
They're the same age mates, you can still
butt heads.
Umsa show ni.
Yeah.
But Ricardo is like an old guy. He has been to the sport for like 10 years. He respects competition. But this guy comes in like, just, I'm in McLaren, what do you do? Yeah. So just to summarize, let's go to the Alpine. We've seen how good they've been, especially on the straight line speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's also part of it is the position they're in. I feel like being there, kind of in the middle, there's not too much pressure. You know, you can
for sure.
grow at your own kind of pace
Yeah.
and try a bunch of things.
Mm.
So yeah, it's interesting to see where they go.
And Alonso is moving to which team next
He's
season?
moving to Aston Martin.
Oh. He's not retired.
Aston
It's
Martin.
only Vettel
So
who's retired.
Vettel
Oh, it's
retired.
Vettel.
Yeah. So Alonso moved into Aston Martin, and we have the other day we saw it's the driver of AlphaTauri.
Latifi.
The French guy,
Pierre Gasly.
Pierre Gasly,
Yeah.
moving to Alpine.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It will become so competitive going forward that all these teams have pulled because we're into the new regulations. Don't forget that this is a season where we've had a change in regulations.
Yeah, exactly.
And by the way, just to state on that, this season, from last season, they decided to change the rules. So it was all about promoting closer racing. Last season we found out that when you race closer to the driver in front of you, you had a lot of tire degradation, overheating. So when you followed the car in front, after a few laps, you had to just pull away,
Yeah.
and then you recharge your batteries and go.
Yeah.
But this season that has improved, so we can see more closer racing. So that's a plus to the FIA.
But can we see? Have we seen more closer racing? To be honest,
Yeah, we've
Usual.
seen.
in the middle of the park maybe, but not
Oh,
at the
no,
front.
even in the
All over.
front,
Yeah.
all over. For me, I'd say the rules have actually worked.
Where at the front have we seen closer racing?
Verstappen, Leclerc, Sainz, Perez,
I've seen any-
bro. You've forgotten the overtakes on Sainz, on Perez, and George Russell, especially on the French GP. Leclerc and Verstappen, Hungary GP,
Yeah.
Bahrain GP. Oh, bro, it's
Who won
been-
Verstappen?
Leclerc and
Yeah.
Verstappen.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't remember.
For me, I think the rules have changed to. I think we're on the right track. Yeah, just a few bits here and there. For me, this season has been a tick because we all came into this season wondering, oh man, will these rules have any impact on the racing
Yeah.
come Sunday?
Yeah.
But the point is, we have to make Sunday more interesting than normal.
This coming Sunday.
No,
Yeah.
on Sundays.
Oh,
I mean, race days.
Yeah.
Sundays have to be better. Yeah, in terms of racing.
Okay, understood.
And for me, I think we're in the right step to the right direction.
Plus, like more teams joining with one another
Yeah,
in the future.
yeah, for sure. So let me go to the next point, and it's about let's talk about the bottom teams a bit. Let's talk about the Williams, it's about the Haas, and for me, in specific, I want to highlight one team which has really disappointed me, and that's Alfa Romeo. Team represented by Bottas and Jean Horn. So at the beginning of the season they were really good, but those guys haven't scored any points in 7 races consecutively. We've seen
Yeah, Bottas
DNFs.
started like really strong.
Yeah, Bottas, they all started strong. Let me tell you one thing. But all the Ferrari engine cars, that is the Ferrari, Alfa Romeo and Haas, they started strong. But out of those three, Ferrari have made a step forward. But
Yeah.
Haas and the AlphaTauri, the Alfa Romeo have regressed.
They don't have the premium package.
And I don't have any explanation.
They don't have the premium package.
No, but you may not have the premium package.
The subscription.
But-
Yeah, the subscription is just, I'm sorry.
Uh,
Those upgrades won't get to you. Unfortunately.
For me personally, I think they just don't know what's happening. You see, there's a team, even regardless of the updates you bring, and this is what informs you about the Alfa Romeo. They've brought upgrades, but nothing is changing. Yeah, you see, you can bring upgrades, and then you can be either worse or better. But bro,
True, yeah?
yeah,
Should be at least some kind of...
you should see some improvement, or
yeah.
you know.
Hey, someone needs to look into that.
So, especially being on the Ferrari engine, I feel like the Alfa Romeo, we especially taking Bottas, who's an experienced driver, someone who can give a bit of feedback to the team, like, yo, do this, do that, do this, do. You know, John Ho is I've used a bad name. John, let me say John,
Yeah.
isn't experienced enough to give feedback in terms of development cycle, but Bottas is.
Yeah.
And the fact that they haven't improved under Bottas, I don't know if Bottas is doing his job or the car is just lacking, the team is just lacking. Yeah.
I'm not comment on that. To be honest.
I also have no comment
Yeah.
because I'm just dumbfounded. I expected them to at least be competing with the Alpine or the McLaren. Yeah, for real. But they are nowhere to be found. But for the Williams and the Haas, for me the Haas has improved. Last season they were terrible. Coming to this season, personally I feel like Mick Schumacher.
This is his first season.
No. This is like his third season, second season. Yeah. But he's really matured. Although he's confirmed next season, he still doesn't have a drive.
He doesn't have a contract.
Yeah.
I think they'll give him.
For now, yeah.
But personally, I think he's done a good job. Even Kevin Magnussen has done a good job in that Alpine. With a limited budget, they still have the pace. They've shown competitiveness, qualifying from race to race. And for me, Williams is still the team which I still see and not see a way forward. Yeah, finished bottom last season with the spinning guy. Russian guy got demoted after the Bahrain war and the war with Russian.
Yeah.
Mazepin? I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
Mazepin.
But coming into this season, I just hope that the Williams will have better pace, competitiveness. To be fair, one of the teammates, Alex Albon, has shown good pace, finishing the points 1 or 2 times. Yeah.
Maybe finish in P10.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, but Latifi not in the same page. Got demoted and it's not gonna be racing next season. Which was a given after
the
race.
De Vries.
Yeah, De Vries came into that car. You know, he was notified during midnight.
Yeah.
Yo, tomorrow you're gonna be racing.
What happened today? Nani?
Albon had a surgery, so he was not gonna race. So De Vries was called. He said you're gonna be stepping in.
And first race got into the points.
And got into the points, and you beat the team which was been there for the longest. That's like sure bet.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be racing next year.
Unfortunately.
Crazy. Yeah. So we can go on and go on and go on. So what do you feel have we left out?
What have we left out? We've covered much of everything.
Yeah. I think we have.
Yeah. I can go on and go on, but for now, I think this episode can be almost 2 hours, but we're gonna leave it at that. Given that it's 6 races remaining, we're still gonna drop another episode. Maybe before Abu Dhabi.
Does Verstappen has a chance to win it on Sunday?
Yeah, if the rest get DNF.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, mathematically.
Oh, okay.
So Charles Leclerc has to get a DNF, and Max Verstappen has to finish like first. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not happening.
Yeah. So I think before Abu Dhabi, but then they have updated the calendar for 2023. We have 24 races.
Yeah.
But of course, Abu Dhabi is always the grand final. So I hope Max I hope there's a twist. L Max gets a DNF somewhere before Abu Dhabi, and then we can have all this drama. One more drama.
Maybe it gets to the
Yeah. And yeah, we'll be back with another episode. We're gonna